saw Jesus in an AA meeting at the corner of Florida and 24th Street. She wanted to delay the sight of the baby Jesus smile. She wore a rosary, a pink plastic set of painterly beads that were given her in the entrance of the clubhouse. The alcoholics milled around her slender, busted body. She had a chill that Sunday morning, a week before Christ arrived to stay. When she sighed deeply, pursed her thin pink lips, and kissed the cross in her small dry hand, she thought about her friend, the man who talked to her, the soldier just back from the war. He may have fought in the Crusades, the Spanish-American War, the first big one, number 2, Korea, Vietnam, or maybe the corporate war, the one that separated the beards from the CEOs. He had a burr cut, thick, distorted glasses that made his eyes bulge. He cried all through the meeting. The tears wet his young, pale face, and he nodded in little, shadowy jerks as if bobbing for some prize. But his only prize now was that he came home alone to an AA meeting in the Mission before Christmas. I bought these red shoes in Thailand 2 years ago. She bent down as he spoke through the crush of smelly men who walked the streets dusty and dry. The devil got him one too many times for him not to fear the demon rum. But he looked at the walls and saw his dreams in the slogans. He knew, easy does it. Let go, let God, and keep it simple, stupid. As I sit here, I remember my teen years, mopping the floors here when I lived in a cardboard box on 23rd and Bryant one whole summer. Drinking in the Mexican cantinas at night until closing and wandering home to the box. Sometimes I ate, sometimes I didn't. I never could get enough alcohol, but one drink was too much for me. The recruiter told me I had to be sober 8 weeks before I could go to boot camp. I was 19 then. It was either wash dishes at the bakery on 24th or join up. In the military, I'd be saving money for school. Washing dishes wasn't enough for me. I saw the bloody insides of soldiers out there. Just flew back from overseas. Earlier that day, next to the soldier on the aircraft, sat a man in his early 50s with long flowing gray hair and a gray beard. As the man sat down and leaned his big frame back into the leather chair, the soldier stared straight ahead. The soldier felt afraid of this man, and also a little awe crept through the soldier's young heart. The ancient woman behind the long hair tapped him firmly on the shoulder. "Sir," she said. Long hair turned in the seat to see the watery gray eyes of the wrinkled round face. "I have very bad claustrophobia, and I would be ever so grateful if you would choose not to recline your seat once we are in flight." Long hair took this in without expression, said, "Okay," and turned back to the front. He breathed deeply. Then another tap. "Thank you," she said, and handed him a sticky, cellophane-wrapped peppermint. Long hair smiled and put the mint in his shirt pocket. Once the plane was in the air, the flight attendant, a man in his 30s with a brushy gray mustache, full lips, and hooded light brown eyes, offered beverages. When he came to the soldier, he said, "If you'd like a cocktail, sir, it's on the gentleman in front of you." No, thanks." Longhair had tomato juice, and the soldier drank cola. As the soldier read his paperback, he imagined that the long hair next to him was Jesus. Jesus had aged only 1 year for each 100 since he was resurrected. He had come back on this aircraft to tell him something for his ears only. Longhair leaned over close to the soldier. The soldier smelled garlic and tomato juice. "If Jesus were to come back someday, maybe today, do you think he would be a hitchhiker or a hijacker?" Longhair spoke in a halting, lilting voice. His big bovine eyes peered into the soldier's thick lenses, looking for a sign. "I just love this sort of hypothetical, sir," the soldier said in a high voice. "I'll give you a hint, soldier. I'm not flying space available non-revenue." Longhair brushed back his curly gray hair with his left hand. "Have you ever been to Cuba? We may have to refuel to get there." Then he unwrapped the cellophane and popped the mint into his mouth. He chuckled as he sucked on the candy. "Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!" "Sir," said the soldier, "with some granny glasses and a white-bordered red suit, you could be the fella from the North Pole and not Jesus at all." "I'm neither Santa nor Jesus, son. Just a man named Grant McAdams. I'm afraid you've mistaken me for 2 imaginary friends. I understand you've been conditioned by a pop culture society to need imaginary friends, and in this country, Santa is condoned for children and Jesus for adults. You look adult enough to believe in Jesus, but I was just posing a hypothetical and teasing you because you look so scared. I gather you have been to war, and you turned down a cocktail. Son, behind those thick lenses, up in that nasal voice of yours, is a head that must be mighty twisted by this oil war. I'm just a hippie on an Airbus, a freak in a sideshow. You, however, are going to need Jesus for real to reintegrate to San Francisco, if that is your final destination. May I ask, sir, where you are headed?" The soldier knew where he was going. He knew he would be holding hands in prayer with other alcoholics later that evening. He knew that the meeting would be in the room with the gray floor and the folding chairs. He hoped he would see the woman with the rosary who had prayed with him before boot camp. He had not written to anyone, though. He had not felt close enough to anyone before he left. He was lost in his holy thoughts of tree-lined 24th Street as he sipped his cola from a plastic cup at 30,000 feet. "The Mission District, sir. I don't yet have a place to stay. I've been discharged." His gaze took in the interior of the aircraft. His buzz cut seemed to have grown out a little during the flight. Stubble graced his cheeks and chin. McAdams felt deep sympathy for this young soldier. He had just read an article in a weekly newspaper in Cincinnati that claimed more U.S. soldiers died of suicide than in combat in the previous year. Did that include both overseas wars? He didn't know. This man sitting next to him had survived at least one deployment in a foreign war. In McAdams were many conflicting thoughts and feelings. How to even talk to a recent veteran returning to domestic society stirred him. But he knew times were tough, and the choice to serve was a choice most of his fellows honored without question. McAdams wanted to cheer up the soldier, make him feel at home, give him his best. As a world traveler and university professor, he believed he could help both the soldier and the situation. The balance of time they had together on this flight might be all he needed to effect some better solution for the soldier. I don't know where you will find Jesus in the Mission District, son, but I can tell you this. I know a teacher at San Francisco State University who helped me when I was struggling to earn my degree 10 years ago. If you contact me once you're settled in, wherever you're going, I'll help you contact him. And education might just be your next step. Then, McAdams handed the soldier a small rectangular card. Just flew back from overseas. I met a man on the flight. He wanted to help. The soldier trailed off. There was a chorus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The soldier reached into his camo shirt pocket and fingered the card. The woman released the rosary, gazed from her feet in worn shoes to the soldier's stubbly face with the thick glasses.